Alright guys, here we are for the final episode of Season 1, Episode 36 of The Twilight Zone as it appears on Netflix.
Spoiler alert, last episode of Season 1.
I know, and the best of
We made it.
1959, or probably into 1960 by now.
I believe
Good
so.
stuff, good stuff.
You happy with this episode?
This is one of the episodes I remember,
Oh.
and I actually love this episode.
Really
the
good.
idea of this power this man has, where he can dictate something into his voice recorder, and it comes to life, or as he imagines it, and then he can snip that piece of recording off, crumple it up, throw it into the fire, and
Which
poof,
he
it goes away.
explains in great detail twice, just in case you don't understand the concept.
No, it's such
it's
a cool thing that your vivid imagination can bring things into the world.
Do you think that the tape recorder is magic, or that he is magic?
I
or
thought about this for a
something?
little while, and I
Okay.
imagine it's kind of like you see things in different movies or comics or whatever, where a person has a power, but they harness that power through something else.
Yes.
And really, the power is within
It was
them
within
the whole
you
time.
all along.
Yeah.
That's how because you wouldn't know how your own powers even work. Right? That's how he expresses the power.
That's what my thought is.
It's like his anchor. It's his talisman for which he does the thing.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to be super critical of how he hadn't taken over the world with this power, though. I figured you'd be like, this pisses me off. Or
well, you do what you have to. Do you even have to take over the world?
if you're happy and you're living with your fake
it's exactly
wife,
the only reason some people take over the world is because that's what would make them happy. They want the
Exactly.
power. But for him, he's like, nah, man, I got my trollop, I got my wife, whatever.
It's so dope.
I do think he spoilers. His wife was fake the whole time. He had made her up too.
Did you call that? I
Yeah, I
called that
think so.
really early on, where I was like, wait a minute, or something like
It
that.
was hard to say if I had called that then,
Or
because
no,
it's a
that's
memory
true.
at this point.
I did not remember this one. I'm not sure that I would have liked this one as like a kid, but I really liked it now. Like the intro setup where Rod Serling's like enter Mrs. West or whatever, like record scratch, holy shit, or whatever the fuck. This show doesn't usually do that. It doesn't usually show you a thing and then pan over and be like dun dun dun, like usually it saves that for later.
It was nice, and I liked
cool.
it. Reminded me of like old TV, like I Love Lucy style things. When she looks in the window, it's like, like, oh no,
Yeah.
and just the whole episode has a nice charm to it. It's just a really.
I was going to use the word charming, because she's looking everywhere, and he's like, "Is there something wrong?" Because he knows, like, I fucking magicked her out of existence. You're not going to find her. Fucking turn me upside down. Which is awesome, because you don't know that, yet. Like, the Twilight Zone has this bad habit sometimes of being like, Mr. Peterson, he can fly. Anyway, and then go into the whole thing, and you're like, okay, how's that going to come? But you don't even know anything now. You're just like, where did he hide this woman? What's going on? Like, why is this a thing? I guess he's a player, and then he, it gets
ropes you in. It's very
revealed
cool.
and stuff, yeah.
So yeah, I really like the idea. Mostly, my thing with Twilight Zones is that's a fascinating idea. Like
premise,
I could really get into that, or I would like if I had that, or that'd be terrifying if it was happening to you.
Exactly.
But for this idea, I'm like, oh man, your imagination is literally limitless to what your reality is. I'm like, that's amazing. And it, we see him make an elephant, so you presume he could be like, a large house is delivered. And, the deed to this is delivered by Mr. President. Anything could potentially happen.
No, I know that's that sort of thinking. I was sure you were going to shit on this. Like he should be king of the world. He should be taking over.
I don't even know if I would be the king. There's a lot of powers that are OP, and this is one of them. Like the word of God type of power. Where you can make people do things.
You're the narrator.
Yeah, mind control, whatever. All kinds of things like super overpowered. And I think to say you would become the king of the world with those kind of powers, it seems a little obvious. Why would you even need that?
And you want to fly under the radar anyway, right? Because if anyone knew about, and that's why he's surrounded by just like the fake characters. He's a writer, he's into it, and he's a solitary, simple, lonely little dude or whatever.
Yeah.
And if people knew about his power, if he was around anyone who actually knew or whatever, then it would ruin the whole thing potentially. He's an older man, right? He can't physically fight.
Of all the powers that you could totally be a recluse, this is the one, because anything you need, I'd really like Elvis to serenade me. Elvis Presley walks in at his ripe age of 23, sings me a beautiful song, throws a scarf, it lands delicately on my shoulders. You could say anything.
You could weave any thing for your day or whatever. I liked that, and this episode implied there was stuff going on. I love the Death Note-y angle that he had her length of tape in the safe ready to go or whatever the fuck, and because it implies, right, that there have been other he's planned ahead and he's experienced this and tried it and done different stuff with it. I really liked
I
that.
wasn't sure how to take it. Is it in the safe? to protect her because he loves his wife, or is it just don't want her to find it?
If she becomes self-aware and then keeps this for herself, I'll have no more control over her. Yeah, there are some insidious overtones here or whatever. I actually thought that this was gonna because I was like, well, I think that she's fake too. But then I'm like, well, maybe she's not, because they had the Mary, the other one, say, "Don't bring me back anymore. I can't deal with this shit," or whatever the fuck. So I thought he was going to bring her back and then pay a price for it or something dark was going to happen. But they're just happy at the end, and I didn't feel robbed of a whatever. But I thought that was going to be like the mind fuck thing or something like that.
Something that I wonder is because he throws her away and brings her back multiple times. He's describing the same character, but is it actually the same character? She has the memories, it seems like, so he's actually describing the same person.
Or is it his memories of their previous interaction?
I wonder.
I had the same thought. Because then why does his wife not remember, or has she only been there the one time for years?
I think that he's had her for a long time. Like he made a wife, and that was his ideal person at that moment. But he has changed as a person.
Wife,
it's weird though.
Man wants to trade her in for a younger model.
How many pieces do you think? How deep? Because the ribbon that he described his wife on wasn't terribly large.
No.
How much description? Because if you could run a potentially 60-minute tape describing just the perfect person for you, and you'd think you'd do that if you're going to make a wife. But because how much of it is left to chance and is random? How much of that personality is just well, that's just who that person came out to be.
Yeah, maybe the words he says aren't even the main thing. Maybe it's that
it's the thoughts and emotions behind the thought.
It's the magic. It's the picture them.
I do like it though.
Yeah.
I would totally have an invulnerable bodyguard. I would have all kinds of cool things. I would have celebrity friends that I hang out with.
Or even just their doppelganger. You can do whatever you want. And that whole thing you said about Elvis, but younger Elvis. You're there's a whole.
Well, yeah, I have a specific Elvis that I like.
Yeah, you can make anything from any time.
I want young Kung Fu Elvis to be my bodyguard.
But he really knows Kung Fu, and he has fists and
Elvis knew Kung Fu.
Feet of iron or whatever. I don't know about Elvis.
Elvis trained, if I'm not mistaken, with Steven Seagal. And Steven Seagal broke his wrist once.
Because Elvis was like, "Ha-cha!"
Something.
Perfect. I didn't know that. That's a fucking mindfuck. That's the mindfuck of the day, because this episode didn't have the mindfuck unless you count, I'm fake too. I liked her dying and being like, "What?" Yeah. "Wait, you're serious, aren't you? I feel weird," or something like that. And he's like, "Oh."
Hey, that's a little weird when it's not instantaneous, when they have the ability to realize that they're like, "Oh no."
And if he ever does want to bring her back, will she be like, "You let me die. Should have dove into the fire. What's wrong with you?" Right? Because do they pick up where they left off? That's crazy.
I wonder though if I recorded a thing where I'm my filming partner is Lee. He has a black shirt on, gingery hair, and doesn't want to kill me. And then if I cut the end off, would am I destroying the film itself, or can I take parts off of it?
Yeah, it seemed like it was this all or nothing, and that's why I'm leaning towards when he throws it in. When he throws it into the fire or sees it burn, mentally, it's they're done, and then they go, and then they disappear or whatever. So that's interesting. I want to conduct a double blind, test where I put two in and one gets destroyed, but I don't know which one.
Yeah,
because he doesn't know how it works. But that's the beauty of these sort of things. It's like Fast and Furious. They're superheroes, but they don't even know how their own powers work.
Yeah,
it just sort of happens, and that's interesting.
It's not magical tape. The recorder's presumably not magic.
He must have had to have refilled it, and he didn't say I bought this voice recorder from an old gypsy instead of a monkey's paw. There was no hint that it's the recorder. Because then what if he dropped it or whatever? I thought that might happen too. I thought something might happen and the recorder might be destroyed. There had to be some no moment or whatever.
No moment.
For the better, I think.
Yeah.
Because I'm glad that I'm glad he didn't throw the wife's envelope in there. I'm glad it was her. And then I'm glad he was like, you know what? I'm going to look forward instead of back, and I'm going to do this. Even though it's a little insidious, it's still yes.
Yeah.
Bring back Mary. She was nice.
No, Mary was nice.
Super charming, I agree.
I wonder at what point how much of his own reality can he augment? Because he close his eyes and dictate that he's in a bigger house, and then the house would get bigger?
Wow, I don't know.
Because, he can spawn life. I don't know where his limitations might lie.
So we should mention he creates the elephant, right?
Yeah, he creates a full-size elephant.
Crazy.
And gives it direction. I create an elephant that won't let her leave.
Right, and elephants shouldn't even be able to understand that, so it's not like he's... Right,
red-eyed, too, but it was black and white, so you can't tell if they actually... I don't know if they actually put paint in his eyeballs.
Was that an expression to mean that it was angry? Or is that literally... Is that a type of elephant that I'm not aware of?
I'm not aware of it if it is a type, but it didn't strike me as anything other than like amazing. I was like, an elephant. They have an actual elephant.
I know that. So that was the main thing. This was like the season finale. You know, it turns out. Presumably, right? If everything lines up or something. So they went all out.
With a bang, yeah. Elephant bang.
With an elephant.
No one chooses the elephant, kid.
I was just going to say that. Come on, kid. You can't pick the elephant. But they picked the elephant. I'm trying to think if there was anything I wanted to mention.
No, I just can't think of all the awesome things I would do if I had this power.
Oh no, it's like this is good because like the episode's charming and the premise is like really good.
Yeah.
So like it may not have a mind fuck, but like it has so much going for it. I will say I thought I was a little corny with the Rod Serling insert, the meta where he throws away Rod's tape or whatever the fuck. Right? So when they opened the safe, I did notice something else was already in there, and my mind started working like, is that his tape? Is he also fake somehow? That doesn't make sense. What could this be? And then it turns out to be our one and only narrator of the whole show. So the implication is that this is the guy writing the Twilight Zone, maybe, and he created Rod Serling,
maybe,
and then destroyed him. Maybe they didn't know they'd make any more of the show.
Yeah, and that could be a fun cap.
This was this weird like circular fucking thing where he's like, I've had enough of you. Stop talking over my life. Was that come off as corny to you? Were you down with that?
No, I liked it.
Okay.
I like it.
I didn't love it. I just thought it was a little. I'm like, wait, come on, what's going on?
It's a little on the nose, but it's fun.
No, and it has the same sort of charm that the whole thing like has. Right?
Yeah, the episode itself lends itself to something like
in
this.
Like a different episode. If
it might have felt out of place.
If like a spaceman took off his helmet and it was just Rod's, like with a cigarette, you'd be like, what the fuck's going on here? What are you doing in the show? I like to be in front of the camera more. And you're like, oh fuck, yeah.
Yeah, I learned that Rod Serling was from Ithaca.
Oh,
I went to Ithaca College. Yeah,
it's a small world.
That's your little bit of knowledge for the day. All right, guys, let us.
There'll be a test.
Of course,
take note of all the trivia.
Let us know what you thought about this episode in the comments below. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.